Right now, someone weaker than you is winning. Why? Because they look more confident. They talk without hesitation. They act like they deserve everything. And everybody believes them. At the same time you hesitate. You think too much. You wait for the right time, the right words, and the right connection. And while you wait, another person snatches what could have been yours. Confidence is not an attribute. It is a weapon. And if you do not carry it, another person will use it against you. Machiavelli understood this hundreds of years ago. The daring get ahead regardless of whether they lack skills. The hesitant remain behind regardless of how intelligent they are. Because power doesn't belong to the best. It belongs to the most certain. This video is a turning point, not for inspiration, not for relaxation, but for control. You will learn how to overcome hesitation, talk like a ruler, and move like somebody who expects to be respected. Watch carefully. Because starting today, your weakness will no longer be tolerated. It will be replaced. You weren't created to be weak. You grew up that way, by practice, by reward, by rules and regulations. Conditioned to obey, conditioned to seek validation, conditioned to ask, is this okay with you? What is living inside you right now is not a man. It's a servant trained to please, trained to submit. A watchful dog who jumps at judgment and waits for approval. That voice in your mind, the one that hesitates, that thinks too much, that apologizes before talking, that's not you. That's an inner servant. And if you don't eliminate him, you can never be free. Machiavelli did not whisper. He commanded. He did not wait to be recognized. He acted and allowed everyone. He did not ask for power. He grabbed it since he knew people who asked did not deserve it. Your transformation begins with an inversion. Each moment you want to shrink, expand. Each moment you want to explain, pause. Each moment you want to apologize, stare. Because hazardous confidence doesn't come from feeling ready. It originates from doing something the inner servant would never try. You walk quicker. You take up space. You stop soothing your tone. You talk like your words are decisions, not suggestions. Self-assurance is not a mentality. It is an identity. And that identity is built in defiance, not against the world, but against the part of you that still wants to serve. Therefore, here is your first rule: if it renders you small, eliminate it. A concept, a routine, or a person, eliminate it. If it makes you hesitate, deal with it. If it makes you powerless, reject it. If it seeks to be loved, laugh at it. Everyone around you will tell you to be kind, friendly, and nice. But here's the Machiavellian reality: the nice men are weapons. They get used, eliminated, and replaced. Powerful men are not nice. They are precise, managed, and calculated. And it begins by taking out the little voice inside you that still wants to be accepted. You don't need approval. You need just one thing: the determination to become feared, not by other people, but by your past self. Because once you eliminate the servant, the ruler shows up. Influential men don't arrive aggressively. They arrive with presence, not through their speech, but through their silence, their calmness, their look. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be loved. You just need that atmosphere to change the instant you arrive. That's how a man moves when he dominates the room, not because he's been told he acts that way, but because he behaves like he always has. Machiavelli discovered this in the royal courts. The people who had power weren't necessarily the kings. Sometimes it was the guy in the corner who hardly talked. But when he did, everyone in the court leaned in. Silence is power. You believe speaking makes you powerful. It doesn't. It makes you predictable. The silent man is the potential danger because no one knows what he is thinking. When you enter into a room, you don't look for approval. You observe. You absorb. You let other people rush to show themselves while you analyze. Your posture communicates before your speech does. You move slowly, not because you are nervous, but because you are in a hurry. Predators don't sprint till they're ready to strike. Until then, they wait, relaxed and ready. Many individuals do not even realize how fast they move, how fast they talk, and how frequently they interrupt, because they're trying to attract attention because they are still under the other person's judgment. But when you step in like you dominate the room, you do not speak to attract attention, you speak to decide. Every single word communicates finality. Every phrase sounds like a conclusion. People begin to listen attentively. They don't challenge you. They calibrate themselves to you. And when other people talk, you wait. You let them go first. You let them disclose their hunger, their uncertainty, and their weakness. Because nobody who speaks first often gives away what they fear. And the moment you know that, you can bend them at will. You don't pursue energy. You generate gravity. Because self-assurance at this level is not about being loved. It's about having others doubt their own status just by standing next to you. So you conduct yourself like you have already won. Not arrogantly, but like a person who doesn't compete since he's already chosen himself. If they respect you, fine. If they don't, good. Because indifference to validation is the ultimate form of power, and if the room was not yours when you walked in, by the moment you get out, they will remember it like it was. Not because you asked for it, but because you didn't have to. Machiavelli understood the reality: power is not necessarily in what you say, but in the way you say it. And when you talk like you cannot be challenged, people don't evaluate your words. They give in to the weight of your confidence. Because here is the game: humans are not logical. They are emotional. They don't follow reality. They follow convictions. If you sound certain, they believe you are right. If you hesitate, people believe you are not worth listening to. Therefore, what does a Machiavellian voice sound like? It is slow, calm, and decisive. You talk as if your words are not available for debate, as if each statement is a decree. You talk like a person who already expects to be obeyed. It doesn't matter whether you are in a room filled with professionals. If you sound like a decision, they will defer. That is the first rule: sound like the end, not the beginning. And here is what many people will never tell you: you don't have to speak frequently to be valued. Furthermore, the more you speak, the more opportunity you give people to decipher you, challenge you, or even worse, stop fearing you. Talk less, mean more. When you do talk, eradicate softness. No justifications, no apologies. Never say, "I'm just saying, I might be wrong," or "I don't know if this makes sense." Those are escape routes for the weak. Destroy them. Say what you mean and leave it there. Let other people cope with the silence that comes afterwards. Because silence, after an intense message, is powerful. It dares people to face you, and many will not. Why? Because they are too scared of what more you could say. Now understand this: the tone of your voice is your real message. The words are the surface. But your tone, your calm, steady, focused tone, tells others precisely where you stand in the chain of command. You want to rise? Lower your tone. Slow your pace. Remove the tense energy. Sounds like a person who has nothing to argue about and everything under control. Sounds like a guy who has already made up his mind and expects the world to eventually catch up. You don't win arguments by being louder. You win them by talking in a way that makes others think your words aren't recommendations. They are facts. This is how leaders speak, how generals speak, and how emperors in exile speak before they reclaim their thrones back. And if someone confronts you, never defend, redirect. Don't explain. Don't justify. Just say, "I disagree." And then move on. Because when you refuse to have a discussion, you suggest something awful, that your truth is not open for negotiation. That is how you dominate a room without ever raising your voice. Because confidence is not loudness. It's nature. It's the invisible weight behind your words. The belief that when you talk, people should listen. When you talk, everyone in the room should feel it. Not through noise or through self-importance, but through strong confidence. You are not trying to be right. You are talking like a person who can't be wrong. You are not trying to be heard. You are talking like a person who does not care if you agree, because you will ultimately. That is strength. And from this point forward, it is how you talk, or you keep mute. Self-assurance without control is decoration. You can stand tall, speak wisely, and move with authority. But if somebody can still trigger you with a statement, you are not powerful. You are exposed. This is where many men fail. They command presence. But their emotions still belong to everyone else. A hint of disrespect and they react. A kind compliment and they relax. A silence, and they spiral. You cannot be free until you conquer the unseen war, the one within your own thoughts. And that starts with rebuilding your identity. Machiavelli understood this in the courts of power. He didn't fear opponents. He feared dependency, emotional or otherwise. He didn't trust compassion. He trusted power. Because once others know what moves you, they know where to press. And the moment they know where to press, you're not threatening anymore. You are controllable. And controllable guys get kicked out the moment they lose usefulness.